Good morning, everyone. On 11th March 2020, COVID-19 was declared a global pandemic. Since then, the information on human infection with the COVID-19 virus is evolving, and WHO, CDC, and ICMR continue to monitor developments in revised recommendations. The overview of my presentations are introduction, update on COVID-19 testing laboratories in India, testing strategies of COVID-19, COVID testing, newer additional strategies for COVID-19 testing in India, and the COVID-19 workflow at regional level viral research diagnostic laboratory at AIIMS Jodhpur. Being the nodal person of the COVID testing laboratory at this institute, it is my duty to provide updates at frequent interval. Today, I would like to provide the updates on COVID testing. In India, as of July 19, 2020, total cases tested were more than 1.4 crore. Total active cases reported by Government of India were more than 3.7 lakh. The positivity rate was more than 7.6%, with case fatality rate of more than 2.4%. And this table shows how the COVID cases are increasing, and on 16th July, India reached 1 crore cases. Presently, all the guidelines and testing is governed by Indian Council of Medical Research in India. So first, I would like to give the updates on COVID-19 testing laboratories in India. Currently, around 1,274 labs are testing COVID-19 in India under ICMR, of which government laboratories are 892, private laboratories are 382. Three types of molecular testing are approved. These are real-time reverse transcriptase PCR-based testing, TrueNAT test, and the CBNAT test for COVID-19. Among the real-time PCR for COVID-19 testing, 651 laboratories, out of which government are 398 and private 253 laboratories. And the TrueNAT-based testing are being done in the 457 government laboratories and 59 private laboratories. The CBNAT-based testing are being done in 98 laboratories, of which the 37 are government and the 70 are private laboratories. Regional lab at AIIMS Jodhpur was identified as the national lab for COVID testing in March 2020. Presently, it is the mentor institute for COVID testing by ICMR for 53 government and private laboratories of Rajasthan and Gujarat. This figure shows the mapping of COVID-19 reverse transcriptase PCR testing laboratory in India. And this map shows distribution of ICMR recognized quality control labs in India. In Rajasthan, 2 labs have been recognized, one at our institute in Jodhpur and another in Jaipur. These are the 14 laboratories in the Rajasthan which are for the QC control under AIIMS Jodhpur. The ICMR is providing the updates on their strategy for testing of COVID-19 cases, and present strategy is version 5 as follows. In this case strategy, all symptomatic cases are individual with history of international travel in the last 14 days, contact of laboratory confirmed cases, healthcare workers, frontline workers involved in containment and mitigation of COVID-19, then influenza-like illness within hotspot or containment zones, and among returnees and migrants within 7 days of illness should be tested for the COVID-19. Among the asymptomatic, direct and high-risk contacts of a confirmed case to be tested once between day 5 and day 10 of coming into contact. All patients of severe acute respiratory infection, in short form this is known as SARI, they should, and who, because they require hospitalization, they should also be tested. All hospitalized patients who develop ILI symptoms are to be tested. So there are 4 groups: all symptomatics, asymptomatic, with SARI, and with ILI require hospitalization are included in the testing. No emergency procedure should be delayed for lack of test. All testing in the above categories is recommended by real-time PCR test only. The COVID ICMR has regularly updated in the how to test the COVID-19 disease, but there are no such update in specimen collection and transport and type of specimen, but I would like to brief you a little about it. For the specimen collection and transport, few of the things are very much required, and these are to ensure that staff are trained for appropriate specimen collection, storage, and transport. Specimens should be collected in viral transport media in cold and should reach laboratory as soon as possible. Storage for long duration at -70°C, and the specimen storage for shorter duration may be kept at 4°C. Specimen should be correctly labeled, and all the staff who are collecting the specimen should be wearing the proper PPE with N95 mask. Specimen handling require BSL-2 or equivalent facilities, and if attempt to culture the virus, it requires BSL-3 facilities at minimum. Various specimens are being collected. The mean incubation period of COVID-19 is approximately 5.2 days. Virus shedding patterns are not yet well understood, though the respiratory sample have the greatest yield. The bronchoalveolar lavage has the highest sensitivity, and this is approximately 93%, but difficult to get. Nasopharyngeal swab and oropharyngeal swab combined has good sensitivity and routinely used and recommended for the specimen collection. Diagnostic testing for the novel coronavirus is undertaken using 4 approaches. These are the molecular methods, antigen testing, and antibody testing. But the other one is the whole genome sequencing, which was done first time, and then the new the virus can also be cultured, but this is not recommended by ICMR. The molecular methods based on detection of unique sequence of virus RNA by nucleic acid amplification test. Such tests, such as like the it tests the target specific genes like the RDRP genes, HKU, ORF, L1 and B gene, E gene, and N gene. There are other tools to detect COVID-19 are the CIFIT Expert Express SARS-CoV-2 test and TrueNat Beta-CoV-2. These are the point-of-care molecular assay which give result in less than 1 hour. This provides the rapid and accurate result. The second are the automated qualitative molecular assays. Examples are the cobas SARS-CoV-2 and multiplex NAT BioFire respiratory panels are also being used and sets for the COVID-19. But there are few differences and how to select these tests, and this shows that the real-time RT-PCR versus TrueNat and CBNat, there are major differences. In real-time RT-PCR, this is the gold standard test, require specialized laboratory setup with specific biosafety precautions. Takes approximately 10 to 10 hours from receipt of sample to getting the result. Advantages are accuracy of detection, ability to run up to 90 samples in a single run. However, in cases of the TrueNat and CBNat system, only the customized cartridges are being used, but these systems are available at district and PSC level because these systems are widely used for diagnosis of tuberculosis. In this system, the quick turnaround time is approximately 30 to 60 minutes because there is no requirement of the initial phase of extraction of the samples. The capacity of testing is only 1 to 4 samples per run, and maximum of 24 to 48 samples per day can be tested. The minimum safety hazards are there, because these are the closed nature of the system and the minimum sample handling are required. These are the few other newer strategies introduced by ICMR, and these are the rapid point-of-care antigen detection tests. These antigen detection tests have the limited availability. These are moderate sensitivity but high specificity. A positive test should be considered as a true positive. All symptomatic individuals testing negative should be confirmed with a real-time RT-PCR test. So this is the drawback with this testing. Does not require a specialized machine, can be interpreted with naked eye, and available is standard Q COVID-19 antigen kit by SD Biosensor. This test is recommended for use in containment zones and hospitals in combination with RT-PCR. So these are the settings where the antigen testing should be done. These are: number 1, all containment zones identified by the state governments, all central and state government, medical colleges and government hospitals, all private hospitals approved by NABL, and all private labs accredited by NABL and approved by ICMR is COVID-19 testing lab. So these are the sites where antigen tests can be used, and these are given by ICMR. Following conditions are required for rapid antigen tests. All centers intended to perform antigen tests need to register with ICMR for data entry. All data of testing needs to be entered into ICMR portal on a real-time basis. All symptomatic negative patients should be referred to a reverse transcriptase PCR test for COVID-19. The data of individuals tested by RT-PCR will need to be entered through the lab performing the RT-PCR test. So these are the few restrictions from the to conduct the antigen testing. About the antibody testing for COVID-19, this is only used for the surveillance and not for the diagnosis. IgG antibodies generally start appearing after 2 weeks of onset of infection and last for several months, not useful for detecting acute infection. But this may be useful in following situations. Sero survey to determine the proportion of population exposed, including asymptomatic individual, and the surveys in high risk or vulnerable population, like in cases of healthcare worker, frontline worker, immunocompromised individuals, and individuals residing in the containment zone. So these are the few examples where the antigen and antibody testing should be done. Like the antigen test should be used in the containment zones or in the hotspot zone, like all symptomatic influenza-like illness. These tests can be used, and in cases of asymptomatic direct high-risk contact with different types of comorbidities, this test can be utilized. Among the healthcare setting, all symptomatic ILI patient presenting in the healthcare setting with suspected COVID-19 infection are asymptomatic patient in the high-risk group. And the next asymptomatic patient in where they are going aerosol generating interventions. So these are the antigen tests which can provide the rapid result, and you have not to wait for 8 to 9 hours for PCR testing. The antibody assay, these are mainly used in immunocompromised patients like people living with HIV, tuberculosis, SARI, COPD, and patients on dialysis, individuals in containment zones, healthcare workers, security personnel, risk groups, rural and tribal populations, industrial workers, farmers, staff in municipal bodies, bank, air travelers, etc., just to see whether they have suffered for the COVID-19 or not, and they have the immunity against them or not. This is the interpretation of COVID-19 test result of 3 types of testing. That is the viral testing, antibody and the antibody testing. But the antigen testing have not been covered by the CDC. So here the interpretation is only for the viral testing, means the testing for current infection. If the test is positive, most likely currently have an acute COVID-19 infection, and the chances of viral spread to others may occur. If the test is negative, most likely do not currently have an active COVID-19 infection. Regarding the antibody test, if the antibody test is positive, means likely have had a COVID-19 infection. And if the antibody tests were negative, then likely never had COVID-19 infection. But in both the cases where the antibody and viral testing is being used, the interpretation is somehow different. If the viral RT-PCR is positive and antibody is positive, then most likely currently have an active COVID-19 infection and can give the virus to others. If the RT-PCR is positive and antibody is negative, most likely currently have an active COVID-19 infection, and these cases are also infectious and they can transmit the infection to others. If the viral RT-PCR is negative and antibody is positive, then likely have had and recovered from a COVID-19 infection. And if the viral negative means the RT-PCR is negative and antibody is negative, means likely have never had a COVID-19 infection. In this table, the antigen interpretation have not been done, but regarding the antigen, if the antigen test is positive, it should be taken as positive. If antigen test is negative, it should be repeated with the RT-PCR, and the result should be validated only with the RT-PCR. The other few of the other tests which are being used are whole genome sequencing. Mostly sequencing is being undertaken to characterize the virus and monitor for viral mutation, not for clinical diagnosis. It generates the real-time epidemiological information and establishes the phylogenetics of the virus by sequencing. The virus culture is not being recommended by ICMR, and the culture of SARS-CoV-2 require at least BSL-3, that is biosafety level 3 laboratories. For molecular analysis, electron microscopic studies, routine examination of culture can be done in Class 2 biosafety cabinet. Now I would like to tell something about the COVID-19 workflow at regional level viral research diagnostic laboratory at AIIMS Jodhpur. This regional level viral research and diagnostic laboratory was established in 2018 by ICMR under DHR, and the pattern or flow of testing is same as recommended by WHO, CDC and ICMR. That is, this first procedure is the sample collection, followed by RNA extraction, then RT-PCR amplification, interpretation of result, submission of report. This is because this is the, and about the turnaround time of this testing is 8 to 10 hours. The sample collection is done in the viral transport media by using the swab, and the sample are collected are nasopharyngeal swab and the oropharyngeal swab. After the collection, these are the different other specimens which are for which the WHO has given the guidelines how to collect, how to transport and how to store in the laboratory. And these different specimens are nasopharyngeal and oropharyngeal swabs, ball, tracheal, aspirate, sputum, tissue from biopsy or autopsy, and serum samples and whole blood. So the transport to laboratory should be at 4 degrees centigrade, and the storage, if short period, then 4 degrees centigrade, and if storing for a longer period, then at minus 70 degrees centigrade. You can see here how our technicians are going to different ward of COVID in AIIMS Jodhpur, and they are collecting the specimens. They are having the proper full PPE with N95 mask and face shield. And after collecting, the samples are being collected by 2 swabs, one from the nasopharyngeal swab, another from the oropharyngeal, and both the swabs are put in a single viral transport media. And the specimens are being transported at cold pack in laboratory. The RNA extraction is done in the BSL-2 laboratory, and the different kits. Presently, we are using these 4 types of the kit: micro spin or vacuum technology based, spin column based, and magnetic based. So these are the different types of the kits being used, which gives the different time interval result. Like in cases of micro spin or vacuum technology, it takes 1.5 hours approximately only for the RNA extraction time. This is not the preparation time. So from this time varies from 1 hour to 2 hours. It depends upon the techniques used and the kit used for RNA extraction. These are the BSL-2 laboratories, and the RNA extraction is being done in BSL-2 laboratory with the proper PPE and the N95 mask and face shield. There are two types of RNA extraction is being done in the laboratory. One is the manual method for RNA extraction and another which takes approximately 3 to 4 hours inside the BSL-2 lab. And the automated RNA extraction which takes approximately 2 hours to sit in the BSL-2 lab. After the RNA extraction, the PCR is being done and we have used different types of the PCR kit and these are based on the different gene target. Like the in vitro gen, which have two types of the gene targeted, like for the screening RT-PCR, there are E gene and then for confirmation RDRP and HKU-ORF genes are being detected. So this kit takes more time because first you have to perform the screening and the second go for confirmation if E gene is positive. Then the other are based on the different type of the gene. This is the regional level. These are the different laboratories inside where the RT-PCR testing is being done. And this is the different protocol of RT-PCR, transfer of RNA and amplification is being done in this type of the laboratory and setting up of the amplification condition and then RT-PCR detection of SARS-CoV-2 RNA in this PCR machine. Then this is the reporting is being done by the faculty and this is the sigmoid curve is necessary to see whether the sample was done properly or not and what is the report CT value. And then because this is a notifiable disease, so daily the data is reporting to IDSP, CMHO, nodal person, director, and the different wards for the dissemination. So if we see the total time taken for the testing is sample collection, where for the sample collection, PPE donning 15 minutes, sample collection approximately 10 minutes, PPE doffing 15 minutes, and time is to go and collect the specimen from different places is approximately 15 minutes. Assigning COVID-19 and Excel entry approximately 1 hour, pooling of the sample approximately 30 minutes, RNA extraction approximately depends upon the kit used 3 to 4 hours and automated RNA extraction approximately 4 hours including donning and doffing. And then the RT-PCR amplification, reporting of RT-PCR result and final reporting. So it takes about approximately 8 to 10 hours. But what are the challenges in laboratory diagnosis of COVID-19? If there are so many challenges, they can be divided into pre-analytical factors and the analytical factors and post-analytical factors. If you see in pre-analytical, there may be the lack of identification or misidentification, inadequate specimen collection, handling, transport, and storage. The presence of interfering substances, and there may be the possibility that the collection of the inadequate material for quality or volume of the sample. Then there may be error in the manual pipetting, sample contamination may occur, and testing in patient receiving antiretroviral therapy. So in those cases, there may be the pre-analytical factors which can give the false negative result of RT-PCR. During the analytical factors are testing carried out outside of the diagnostic window, active viral recombination, use of non-adequately validated assays, lack of homogenization of primer and probe, instrument malfunctioning, insufficient or inadequate material, non-specific PCR annealing, and misinterpretation of expression of profile. So these are the other analytical factors where the false negativity chances are there. To summarize, COVID-19 has emerged as a global catastrophe affecting large population in a small duration of time. Accurate diagnosis of people infected with COVID-19 is essential to curb the disease spread. However, the current RT-PCR-based diagnostic assays are time-consuming, costly, and not robust. So there is a need to improve these assays in future. Appropriate measures are required to keep laboratory staff safe while producing reliable test results, and point of care molecular assay and automated diagnostic assay need to be developed for diagnosing early infected cases to curb the spread of infection. Any questions, please?
Good morning, all. Nice presentation, madam.
Questions, please?
Can you hear me, madam? Hello.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, it was a wonderful presentation. Is there any guideline for blood transfusion donors?
Yes, ICMR has given the guidelines for these cases also. So if you want to see, you can see on ICMR portal.
Okay.
Good morning, ma'am. Hello. Nice presentation, madam. Can you hear me?
Any
Hello?
other question?
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes.
Wonderful presentation, ma'am. Ma'am, I just want to know, should testing be done for all healthcare workers?
For all healthcare workers, it is not required actually, because if the healthcare worker is not having any type of symptoms, and then in those cases, there is no requirement of the testing. The testing is only being recommended in cases where they have the duties in the like COVID ward, or they have the contact with the positive cases. Otherwise, there is no need to do the routine investigation or routine testing in the healthcare worker.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Dr. Ashok Puranik is asking can we introduce antigen testing for people coming to hospital, also to all healthcare workers and in patients, including visitors? The ICMR has given the guidelines where to do the antigen testing, because these antigen testing, if they are positive, then have the value. Otherwise, if they are negative, there is no value. And so these should be confirmed with the RT-PCR. So if for the routine investigation or routine testing, I think the antigen should not be done. But if the routine screening just to rule out whether the patient is positive or negative, then antigen testing is the best choice at the point of care. Dr. Gopal Bora is asking, do we plan to do antibody tests for healthcare workers? We have already done the antibody tests from healthcare worker, and one of my faculty is already collecting the specimen and doing the antibody test, and so we can do the antibody testing in healthcare workers, definitely. Dr. Sneha Ambani is asking, what is the status of rapid kit test? See, rapid kit test is only available for antigen test, not for the any antibody test. So, and we have it not started the antigen testing. We are going to procure and will be testing on the basis of recommendation of the ICMR in the what types of the cases they have recommended. Vijay Madhuri is asking, we are doing any sentinel surveillance? No, presently we are not doing any sentinel surveillance for COVID-19. Dr. Vibha Mishra, what is the definition of contact with confirmed positive cases? According to the WHO and ICMR, the contact cases, if the person is being in front of the COVID positive cases at least for 15 to 20 minutes. So these are the cases where this is the primary contact cases. And the secondary contact cases, if the second person is contact with the first contact cases. So that is the second contact one. Say if any of the healthcare worker is caring for a patient which later on comes to be positive, should that healthcare worker and his or her contact be tested? This is the second question asked by Dr. Vibha. So if any of the healthcare worker is caring for a patient which later on comes to be positive, should that healthcare worker and has or contact be tested? Definitely, we are doing it and they all should be tested. Dr. Neeti Goswami is asking how rationale is approached to test super spreaders like shopkeepers and people in service industry. In these cases only the antibody tests can be done because the RT-PCR are not routinely recommended for these, just only for these type of cases. Dr. Amit Goyal, Dr. Amit Goyal is asking, what is the reason of such varied report on seroprevalence, especially with Sweden report? Seroprevalence, it is seen that the antibodies are either very short, formed for only short duration, or they are not protective. So different types of the reports are available from different parts of the world, and they are producing there is no definite data have been given, and they are only giving the initial part of the antibody testing results. So there is no any concluding information on the antibody test results. Dr. Pradeep Bhatia is asking, how can we know that the virus is replication competent? This only can be checked by the virus culture. We cannot do this testing only based on the RT-PCR because RT-PCR can replicate both type of, both live and dead. Then Dr. Bharat Chaudhary is asking, present testing is based on ill symptoms, but as we know there are other symptoms also like diarrhea and osmia, so whether should we test them? If definitely if they are not related to the other causes, then these are other the possibilities, and they are also the presentation of the disease and they should be tested. Dr. Anuradha Sharma is asking, can we differentiate whether RNA is from live or dead virus? Same applies to antigen testing. Yes, definitely that only can be differentiated on the virus culture, not by the RT-PCR. So on culture, you can differentiate whether this is RNA, which we have multiplied in the PCR is dead or live. And for the antigen, the testing, these are definitely, mostly they are dead or the live. So antigen is positive in both the cases. So these are also can be confirmed by the virus culture. Dr. Naveen Sharma is asking, is the 15 to 20 minute contact time defined as single exposure time or cumulative time over the course of a day per week? Definitely, if continuous exposure is there for 10 to 20 minutes, then this is more important than at short exposure for 8 different intervals. So the continuous exposure is more important than the short one. Dr. Bharat Paliwal is asking, can drug be tested for their efficiency in treatment viral culture? Definitely, these can be tested, but that require BSL-3 laboratories. Any other question, please? Dr. Himanshu Pandey is asking, how can one define viral load to which one has been exposed? Is there any data that person with comorbidities are at greater risk with same dose as compared with normal ones? There is, in my knowledge, I don't have this type of the data, but definitely there would be the studies like this. But about the viral load estimation, how can one define viral load to which one has been exposed? The CT value can give the viral load, but this viral load is both combined of the dead and live virus. So the viral load can definitely be estimated after the culture and then doing the other method. Dr. Himanshu Pandey is asking that should a risk person and healthcare worker be warned regarding this? And should a risk person and healthcare worker be warned regarding this? Definitely, they should be warned. All the healthcare workers who are suffering with any type of illness should not be allowed to work in the COVID area, number one, and they should be properly protected and should be given guidelines and should be trained. Then only they should be posted in the COVID area. Dr. Anant Chopade has written, why we can't do antibody tests for all employees for AIIMS. Definitely we can do the antibody tests for all employees for AIIMS, and we would like to do, definitely. Dr. Kavita Bhatnagar is asking, if diarrhea lasts for 1 day with fever, but no other symptoms, should he be tested? Only 1 day diarrhea should not be tested. It should be ruled out with other things, like the diarrhea is other causes should be ruled out, and then only should be tested for COVID-19, because 1 day diarrhea is not the indication for testing. Dr. Pradeep Dwivedi is asking, what are challenges of rapid antigen testing of SARS-CoV-2? The challenges is, number one, the availability of the kit, because only the one manufacturer is now being approved presently. Number second, the antigen positivity is definitely positive, but if the antigen test is negative, you have to do the RT-PCR, and so the antigen testing is only possible in those areas where adjacent nearby labs having the RT-PCR. So if the antigen test is negative, this sample should be transferred to the other lab for RT-PCR and should provide the result for negative cases. So this is the drawback for the antigen testing. Dr. Himanshu Pandey is asking, other symptoms which have been recently included, like anosmia and neurological symptoms, should be considered for testing a person. Definitely, if there are no such other causes, they are the indication for the testing. Now the government has opened the testing widely, so they can come in the hospital or anywhere where the PSCs are there, and they can give their sample and can be tested. Doctor, any other question? Very good questions have been asked. Dr. Himanshu Pandey is asking, do we have faculty for walk-in testing at our center? Walk-in testing means what I don't know what is your meaning of walk-in testing at our center. There is walk-in testing is only can be done by the antigen, not by the RT-PCR. So for the faculty to do, they should come on the flu desk and the sample should be collected from there only. Dr. Samal Chaudhary is asking which medicine used to COVID-19 patient in AIMS. This answer should be given properly by the medicine person. I would not like to touch this answer because I am the laboratory person. Dr. Robert Johns Watson, what is the false positive test rate for RT-PCR for COVID-19? The false positivity rate there are definitely so many chances in the RT-PCR testing. If you will do any mistake in the lab, there are chances of false positivity. So the PCR is always a very sensitive process and technique and should be done very carefully with strict monitoring. Otherwise, false positivity are very much there. Dr. Kavita Bhatnagar is asking, for faculty, can antibody testing be done directly in microbiology department? Definitely, if anybody is interested, we can collect the sample. You can bring microbiology department, we can collect the sample and antibody testing would be done. Dr. Raghavan Shekhawat is just thanking, and also Dr. Gopal Bora is also thanking. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody who are listening and who patiently listen to this talk. Thank you so much.